The labor union number 533 was established on February 3rd, 1917 because you needed to be in the labor union to get a paying job. The Colored Musicians Club was established a year later in 1918 alongside the labor union. The club is located on 145 Broadway in Buffalo, New York. At this time, Buffalo was booming. It was the place to be. Many illustrious musicians, such as Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, and B.B. King, played at many locations throughout the Queen City, like hotels and clubs.
Well, I didn't join the Colored Musicians Club per se. I came to play with a band called Carroll McLaughlin Big Band. I auditioned for Mr. McLaughlin's big band in 1987. And to be a member of his band, he required that to join the club, so I did.
Was there any discrimination at the time when you joined, or was this past the civil rights movement?
Well, all of that sort of stuff is kind of complicated and difficult. What goes on today is a thing that has been with musicians all along. Musicians don't care what you are, as long as you can play. We don't care. Polka dots or stripes, it doesn't matter. If you can play that horn, we want you.
Yeah. What about the historical value of the Colored Musicians Club? What did it do for the city of Buffalo?
Well, in the old days when the club was started, there was no a lot of traffic in terms of airplanes or cars. Most of the traffic across the country was by train. And Buffalo had the third largest train station in the country at the time. And if you wanted to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, you had to come through Buffalo. If you wanted to go to Chicago, to New York, to Toronto, or go south, you had to come through Buffalo. So when you were in Buffalo, there were always these hotels, and every club and every bar had a band. Everybody had live music, and we had hundreds of great musicians here in the Buffalo area. And when the big artists came through, like Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Ella Fitzgerald, Della Reese, they picked up musicians from the Buffalo area and went on to travel around the world.
Okay. Did you ever meet any very famous and illustrious figures such as Duke Ellington or B.B. King?
I did meet B.B. King, and if you'll turn around, the guy sitting at the piano, that's Dizzy Gillespie, I met him. The guy standing next to him, that's Elvin Shepard, I met him. I dated his daughter, actually. The guy with his hand on the doorstep in the background, that's John Coltrane. The little guy behind him, that's Miles Davis. That picture's taken right above your head on the second floor. Yes.
That's awesome. Do you think that the Colored Musicians Club helped diversify Buffalo?
Oh, absolutely. When the club first opened in right around 1918, the union was formed in 17 and the club opened a year later. We bought this building in 1934, but from its inception, we started having jam sessions every Sunday night. We started in 1918 and we haven't stopped. We have not missed a jam session in over 70 years. We had a jam session Sunday, we'll have one next Sunday. And we invite anyone who can play. And we get musicians from all over Western Europe and Southern Ontario who come here to play. We've had people come as far away as Pittsburgh or Toronto just to participate in our jam sessions. All kinds of people, including women.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams.
You're more than welcome, Pat.
Jazz music was a new and very popular type of music in the early 1900s. People wanted jazz. They'd pay a lot of money to see a great jazz performance. We interviewed a man named Danny Williams, who was great in the Colored Musicians Club. He played the cello and knew many interesting facts about the club. Every pub, hotel, and restaurant had their own band. During the era of Prohibition, many hidden speakeasies were established and they needed bands to entertain the customers. Many club members took these jobs and got their career started, such as Duke Ellington, who started his career playing for Al Capone in New York City. During the Great Depression in the late 20s and early 30s, the club established a social club to take people's minds off their impoverished lives. People would sing, dance, and have fun while listening to the club's best music. The Colored Musicians Club brought jazz to the Western New York area. People could now experience the new and popular genre of music, jazz.
The Colored Musicians Club also helped diversify the city of Buffalo in many ways. After the civil rights movement in the 60s, all musicians were allowed in the club, allowing people of different races to interact with each other.
The club established a museum 17 years ago on the first floor of their building. The museum is very interesting with facts about many musicians who played there, and you can even listen and watch their performances.
In conclusion, the Colored Musicians Club helped diversify Buffalo by people of different races encountering each other and people exchanging ideas about jazz. The club was also a host to many famous musicians. All in all, the Colored Musicians Club is an interesting and important aspect of the city of Buffalo.